Hey everybody, thanks for joining us today. We have a great opportunity here to chat with the Perry Marshall community, and so my name's Larry. I'm with WordStream, and we've been partnering with Perry Marshall and his team for a little while now, but just over a year, on producing some joint educational sessions on various marketing topics. And so I think it's been great, and so really appreciate the opportunity, and thanks for showing up, guys. So today I'll be talking a little bit about what I think is the biggest and most exciting change to AdWords over the last 5 years. And so we'll be talking about these new enhanced campaigns in AdWords. And actually my company, WordStream, had the honor of being like one of just a small number of companies to work with Google on some of the changes over the last couple months. And so I'm particularly excited to see all this coming together, and we're very, very excited for the future of AdWords advertising. And so in my presentation today that I've prepared for you, I thought we could first, give a brief overview of kind of the nuts and bolts of the new AdWords system. And then secondly, I'll be introducing a very important kind of concept of user context. And so what is user context and why that matters. We'll do a full tour of the various features and functions. I thought that we could also do some case studies, so just like two examples of companies actually using enhanced campaigns and how they're using it and what kind of strategy they're employing. I think that the thought process behind their strategy will be very helpful. And of course, there'll be time for your questions and answers at the end. So that's our agenda for today. And if you'd like to jump right into the fray and live blog our event, you can use the hashtag WordStream in your Twitter tweets or your Google Plus updates so that we can all follow along. And then I just thought I would introduce myself quickly. I said my name's Larry. Basically, 6 years ago or so, I was in my basement in my underwear doing nothing, and my wife said, Larry, get to work and do something. And so I started a company. It's called WordStream. We're about 100 people. We do paid search software, so like kind of software to help people do search engine marketing. We have something called the 20-minute PPC work week, and also another product called the AdWords Grader. And so they're just kind of these productivity tools to help marketers do better in search. Bryan, do you want to? I'm joined by my colleague Bryan Todd from the Perry Marshall organization, and would you like to introduce yourself to the audience?
You bet, Larry. And it's great to be on chatting with you today about this topic. And I'll just share with everyone that this is today the first time that I've been able to actually work with Larry on a webinar. So it's been a pleasure already, Larry. Again, as I said, I'm Bryan Todd, and I work alongside Perry Marshall. I'm co-author of The Ultimate Guide to Google AdWords, which has just continued over the years to be very popular and sell very well and help lots and lots of folks get off the ground in their own AdWords campaigns. And I've been working side by side with Perry Marshall since 2004, and in some capacity or another since late 2002. And so AdWords has been a part of my vocabulary for that whole amount of time. And as we were talking before we started the webinar, there have been so many changes over the years with AdWords, and it's been exciting to be able to constantly keep my ear to the ground and be in touch with our customers and buyers as they learn AdWords and experience all the changes that AdWords goes through and so on. So Larry, good to be with you, and I look forward to all you have to share today.
Awesome, Bryan, and thanks for joining us. That's great. We love like the Perry Marshall stuff like here at WordStream in terms of like our customer service team, and everyone here loves the tips and advice that you guys are cranking out. So that's great. Before jumping right into the enhanced campaign stuff, I thought we could just ask a couple of poll questions, just kind of figure out, who's on the line here today. And so my first poll question for the audience is, have you actually upgraded one or more of your existing AdWords campaigns to the new enhanced campaign system? And the options are yes or not yet. So if you could visit, if you could lock in your votes, please. And Bryan, I was just wondering, like, what are you guys up to over there at Perry Marshall? Stuff?
We're in the process, that's for sure. And a lot of folks have come to us and said, should I upgrade? Should I not? And there is a lot of good information out there on the web that nowadays helps people make decisions about this a little better. A recent article by Brad Geddes, Geddes, has provided some really good tips for folks on whether it would be appropriate for them or not. In most cases, I don't want to steal any of your thunder, but in most cases the line tends to divide over how much you're advertising on mobile and how much you're not. People who are doing more mobile stuff, obviously this is going to be a bigger concern for you. So.
Awesome. So, Bryan, can you lock in our poll here? And it looks like it's like a 70-30 split, roughly. About a third of you are kind of ahead of the curve here and have started doing some upgrading, and 70% have not yet started. Our next question for our audience has to do with what's your overall thoughts and opinions? What do you think of the new AdWords enhanced campaigns based on kind of what you know about them? And the three options here are: you love them, you think they're way better than before, or perhaps you're upset about the loss of certain features like device targeting or keyword level mobile bidding. And then the third option here is kind of indifferent, or you're still kind of in the opinion creation process here. And Bryan, I'd be curious, what are your thoughts on this one as the audience is answering?
Well, you and I were talking before we started, which way does a person's opinion go on this? And it's not an easy cut and dry answer, I think. It depends on what kind of campaigns you already have running, because that'll determine what features you might lose out on if you upgrade. Because some businesses depend on certain specific features. I personally love the fact that now you can deal with, like, for example, site links and so on an ad group level rather than having to do it on a campaign level. I think that's significant. But again, device targeting, that sort of thing, if you're going to lose features like that and your business is built around that, then changes here are going to have a huge impact on you. So my opinion is not a simple yay or nay. My opinion is, well, if this is your situation, upgrade. If that is your situation, you probably don't want to just yet.
All right, so we've got 72% of polls reporting in, and the no opinions have it. So hopefully this will be an informational session. And our last question for today for the audience before jumping right in is just, what do you value more for your particular business? Is it the clicks from the mobile or the clicks from kind of the notebook / tablet / desktop? Bryan, any thoughts on this one?
I've been, in our business, we've been so focused for so long on what's going on primarily on the desktop. Ours being an information business primarily, we don't have quite the same urgency as, say, a plumber or a pizza restaurant, pizza delivery service might have, for getting an immediate and fast and really friendly presence on mobile devices. Nevertheless, analytics shows that every week that goes by we're getting more and more and more mobile traffic. And in the past year we reached a point where it was like, we'd been putting off upgrading a lot of things on our mobile platform, and we couldn't put it off any longer. So mobile is just becoming bigger and bigger as time goes by, and it's even affecting us, who are, in a business, as we said, is not necessarily urgently a mobile kind of business, but still having to pay more and more attention to it.
Awesome. Chris, and how did our readers or listeners fare? It looks like by 10 to 1 margin, the audience is saying that the desktop/tablet clicks are worth more than the mobile clicks. So we'll see if that holds by the end of this presentation. Great. So I actually have a lot of material to cover here today, so I'm going to just plow through a couple of these slides here. So basically, as I'm sure you've heard, Google is making these big changes to AdWords to make it more compatible with the mobile world today. And so today there's like thousands of different devices. Users are constantly switching between different devices depending on their user context. And as a result, kind of the targeting and tracking of these mobile searchers is quite a challenge. But these challenges and changes, I think, present marketers with great opportunities to better market your products and services to your customers. And so, as we all know, search advertising is awesome because of the kind of the keyword-based targeting. So you can sort of show your ads to people who are searching for the stuff that you sell, and that was why we all fell in love with this thing in the first place. But my point here today is that it's not just about the keyword. There's this other thing going on called user context that matters. And as you can see by this kind of silly, now famous or infamous pizza example from Google at the bottom here, it's not just about the keyword that people are searching. The user context matters tremendously, meaning even though two people could be searching for the exact same word, in this case pizza, what you can infer from the user context that they could be looking for completely different things. So for example, the woman on the left is looking for pizza on her phone downtown in the evening when she's out and about. Maybe she's just looking for directions to a restaurant to buy a slice. The man on the right here, he's searching for pizza on his notebook at home at lunchtime. Maybe he's looking for delivery. And so I realize this is just kind of a dumb, overused example, but my point here is just to say that by taking advantage of a user's context, which I define as the location, time, and device from where the search originated, businesses and marketers can far better target user intent. And so as an example of that, look at those two ads below those two people, the man and the woman. One of the ads features kind of a click-to-call button because they're searching from a mobile phone. It has directions. It has a dinner specials because of the time. The other ad on the right, it features kind of delivery for lunch order kind of information because it's different time, different context. And so my point here is by understanding and reacting to user context within your search marketing campaigns, you can greatly improve the ROI of your paid search dollars. Now you might ask, how is this any different from anything that we had before? And this is a valid point. Geo-targeting, day parting, device targeting, these were all previously available in AdWords. But unfortunately, in order to take advantage of these kind of very critical mobile advertising features and strategies that we're talking about here, in order to leverage those previously, you had to do a lot of work. You had to take on an exponential amount of campaign management complexity, meaning in the old legacy AdWords platform, advertisers were being asked to create multiple copies of the same campaign, so like one for every location, one for every device, one for each time period. And so this quickly kind of becomes difficult, if not impossible, for kind of the average advertisers to manage because it just becomes so exponentially overwhelming. And so what I was finding was that a lot of the smaller and medium-sized businesses weren't actually doing this important work. And so in my presentation today, what you'll see is that that these new features and functions kind of fixes those challenges in a very interesting way, while laying a solid foundation for the next decade of innovations in paid search. So currently, the enhanced campaigns consist of three kind of categories of features. The first has to do with powerful bidding options. These will enable you to adjust your bids based on the kind of the device, location, and time. So basically, the user context. But the neat thing about this is you can do it all from within a single campaign. I'll show you that in just a second. Marketers can also have smarter ads that can be customized for mobile devices. And there's also a ton of new stuff in terms of ad extensions that'll allow you to control how your ads show up across different devices. And finally, there's a improved, kind of new and improved reporting capabilities that'll help you measure the ROI of mobile search. So, for example, like the number of calls that you're getting from your search campaigns in order to help you better measure and optimize your campaigns for this kind of device world that we live in. So let's dig into these 3 items in detail, starting with the new bid options. So the new bid options are pretty straightforward. Currently there's a time of day based bid adjustment, which allows you to bid more when, say, your store is open and bid less when your store might be closed. And I think that makes obvious sense. So Google has expanded on this concept and rolled out bid adjustment options similar to the time-based bid adjustments that exist currently, but they're rolling out for location. So for example, you can now bid more for searches that are close to your store or close to, if you're a car rental place, close to the airport or whatever, and less than in areas that you value less. So additionally, advertisers can bid higher and lower for searches conducted on mobile devices. And so the key point here is you can do all of this in the same campaign without having to do all the geo campaign splitting and mobile campaign splitting that was such a pain in the butt before. Let's take a look at how this works. Basically, located within your campaign settings tab, you're going to find these new options here for ad scheduling, location-based bidding, as well as device-based bidding options. Let's take a look at how that works. Previously, if you wanted to bid differently for different locations, you'd actually have to create different campaigns for each location. So my company, WordStream, we sell PPC management software to English-speaking markets. About 2/3 of our sales come from the USA, and 1/3 comes from other English-speaking markets like the UK, Canada, New Zealand, Australia, France, South Africa, etc. And so, you can't apply a single bid to all the different countries because the auction metrics are going to be different in Canada than they are in the U.S. and like the cost per clicks are going to be very different. And so the previous best practice was to create multiple campaigns, one for every country. And that was such a pain because we target like a dozen countries. So the new way of doing it is just to create a single campaign, and basically, as you can see on the screen, you just add locations to your campaign. Like I'm going to target Canada, United States, Israel, New Zealand, Australia, like English-speaking markets, and then you just set a bid adjustment factor. So like you take the base bids from the campaigns, and maybe Canada, the prices are a bit lower, or the ROI is not as good. So I'm going to kind of dial down the bid adjustment factor by 30%. And so that's all you have to do. That's like you can specify a bid of adjustment factor for plus or minus negative 100% to plus 300%. Brian, any thoughts on this one?
Well, not a comment on this specific feature, although just to buttress everything you've been saying, Larry, back in the old days, if you wanted to really target different people based on different locations and different devices and different times of day, you literally did have to have a separate campaign for each one of those little dimensions. And what that ended up doing for you is, number one, it was a lot of work to build, but even if you invested the time and you built it, the data you got was so granular, or had to be so granular, that sometimes it would take you weeks, if not months, to get just the most basic statistical significance. And it probably took pivot tables and more in your Excel application to be able to actually, make meaningful decisions based on that data. And the advantage here is you don't have to go through all that work and all of that analysis, and the data is found in one much more easily accessible central location. So if that's what you want for your campaigns, then yes, enhanced campaigns are definitely going to be a significant improvement for you.
Awesome. That's great. Let's just continue on through the bid tools here. So we're talking a bit about the different types of bid management tools, and the second one here is this time-based bid management. So you can easily, as you can see in this screenshot, you can specify to bid your more or less depending on the time of day. So for example, in this, as you can see here on the screen, the advertiser is bidding down their bids by 50% on Saturdays and Sundays. Maybe they're like a B2B company that primarily does their businesses during regular business hours, and so that's why they're also dialing up the bids a little bit by 30% between 9 to 5 on weekdays. So this is like previously you had to do a lot of work here. It's much easier. And finally, there's this notion of device-based bid management. And so the previous best practice here for mobile advertising strategy was to clone your campaigns, create a single desktop campaign optimized for desktop, and then create another campaign optimized for mobile. And then, that made a lot of sense back in 2007 when there was like an iPhone, and that was the only smartphone in the entire world. But as you can see by this screenshot, there's quite a lot more devices out there now, and it's gotten a little crazy to have to target individual devices and networks and carriers and models and operating systems. And so I think a lot, not all of them, but most advertisers would kind of prefer to focus more on their advertising rather than trying to worry about all the different types of devices. And so here's what the new device bid management looks like. It's going forward. Let's just do that again for dramatic effect. This is what it looks before, and here's what it looks like now. It's just a single kind of mobile bid adjustment factor, which can be kind of set between minus 100 and plus 300% relative to your desktop ad. And so that's why I asked at the beginning of the session, what do you value more for your business? Is it the mobile clicks or is it the desktop clicks? And I think 50% of you said the desktop clicks were worth more. So what you would do is you would dial down the bid adjustment factors. 5% of you said that you value the mobile clicks more, so that you could just dial up the bid adjustment factor here, maybe plus 50% or something if you value them 50% more. It's up to your business, whatever makes the most sense for ROI, and it's very powerful. And so going forward, and we'll talk about kind of how to figure out whether it's 10% or 20%. We'll talk about strategies on how to set your mobile bid adjustment in just a second. But as you can see, going forward, it's the responsibility of the advertiser to set their mobile bid adjustment factor when you're doing the migration of your campaigns. Google will suggest an initial value, like I think it's typically like minus 10% or something, but they'll suggest a value for you that could be either up or down. And that's just based kind of on a guess, based on kind of the auction metrics, looking at the keywords in your campaigns and what other advertisers are doing. But that's just a suggestion. Advertisers should do your own homework and make a conscientious decision on what makes the most sense for your business. So now that we've looked at sort of the time and device-based and location-based bid management tools, let's now turn our attention to the smarter ads. But I just wanted to give Bryan an opportunity to comment on any of this.
Oh, I'm with you 100% in terms of how much easier that this has made it. And again, in the old days, you had to do this with separate campaigns, and that was such a pain. So,
wasn't it ever? Oh,
great
improvement.
improvement.
And maintaining those, you have to then. It's not just like you create the campaign and you're done. You have to kind of manage that mess that you've created, and it was just,
Absolutely.
It was tough. So let's move on here. So the second category, remember I was saying there's three categories of changes in enhanced campaigns. The first was bid stuff. The second has to do with kind of smarter ads. And so enhanced campaigns feature new kind of ad extension scheduling ability, as well as new enhanced site links ability that will allow you to deliver customized messages for different user contexts. So AdWords will automatically show sort of the right creative and message based on the user context and device capabilities. Let's take a look at how this works. So essentially what is being offered here is this new checkbox, which I've kind of put in a red square that says, I want to run this ad on mobile. So that's called a mobile preferred ad. So now if you have an ad group that has this new universal ad format, and if you've checked the box that says, I would like this ad to be running on mobile, then Google will now try very hard to make sure that whenever someone does a search from a mobile device, that this is the ad that will show up. So that's much more easier than manually specifying which devices, what the, if it's iPhone, then run this ad. Like, it just works automatically. So that's what they mean by smarter ads. Like, you don't have to pick the operating systems and the devices. You just check this box if it's your mobile ad. So essentially, mobile and desktop ads can now live together happily ever after in the same campaign, whereas previously the best practice was to create separate campaigns. Any thoughts, Brian?
No, just to repeat myself of how much time this saves. How much time and how much work and how much thought and analysis.
So it's not just about the ad text. The various ad extensions, like they're such a big part of your ad creation process, like click to call and site links, all this great stuff. And so since creating a great mobile ad, it's more than just changing a bid. Google is rolling out some powerful new ad extension management features. So this means that now when you're creating your site links, you can check the box, just like we did with the ad, and you can specify that this this ad extension is meant for to be running on mobile, and so that way you can specify, precisely, this is exactly what I want to show on mobile, or this at a certain time, like scheduling capability. Like if it's in the evening when my office is closed, I want it to push to the website. But if it's during the daytime when my call center is open, well then I want to display a phone number or a map. So the ad extensions are now fully customizable to the three variables of user context, which was time, location, and device. So time and device scheduling. So that's pretty powerful. Let's just take a look here. So basically, all the existing ad extensions will have the ability to designate them as either mobile or desktop specific, and here's kind of what that looks like. And also the site links are in the AdWords. They're now much more granular. So like before, you used to be able to specify like a kind of a bundle of site links. And so now you have, this is what it used to look like. So there would be like plasma cutting systems, water downdraft, plasma cutting, contact data. So that was like a bundle of 4 different ad extensions, and the reporting was done on kind of the grouping of all the ad extensions, and they were applied at the campaign level. So going forward, as you can see in the screenshot, advertisers can manage individual site links in a more customized way at the ad group or the campaign level, including the ability to get more granular performance data on each site link. And so you can pick like, oh, I would like to have, the why clients love us and the free PPC tool site link to run on this particular ad group or whatever. And so that's just trying to make your ads much more relevant to user context. The result of all these new features, I believe, is that, thinking back to that dumb Google pizza example, like you can then like message like, oh, this person's on mobile and they're on the go, so let's give them directions to the store, right. Or they're at home from desktop. Let's feature the delivery options. So this is a incredibly powerful functionality that was just not possible to do before. Did you have anything to add there?
Yeah, I mean what's interesting is as Google rolls out these features now, it forces you to be a better thinker and better educated about how you're actually going to communicate with your customers. So back in the day, before you could parse out your ad extensions this granularly without the huge amount of work. You would just, stick up your 10 ad extensions and call it good. But now with this functionality, you want to be asking yourself some very educated questions, such as if I knew that my user were going to be finding me at this hour of the day or that hour of the day, or searching on this device or that device, or found in this geographic location or that geographic location, how would that change the site links that I put in those ads? And those were questions that we were not asking ourselves before, but now we can ask them. And when you ask good questions, it leads to a lot better creativity and a lot better intelligence and so on. So I appreciate Google making this available. I appreciate that now we have these options, and now the onus is kind of on you, the individual, to start thinking and asking yourself, what would I do if I knew I was talking to to my customer at a specific time of day on a specific device in a specific geographic location? How would that change the way I talk to them? So very good way to spur better thinking.
Awesome, awesome. So we're down to our last kind of new category of new feature, and that was the, let me just, I just wanted to show you the example of what we're just talking about. That Brian was saying, how would it change? And here's an example of how your ads might change on Friday versus a Saturday, or etc. So the last kind of category of new features and functions has to do with reporting. Kind of measuring the ROI, the return on investment from mobile search. And I just want to throw this out there. I know that kind of by a 10-to-1 margin, listeners today said we value desktop traffic more than mobile search. But I just want to throw this out there. It's possible that there could be kind of measurement error. And so what I mean by this is the ROI of mobile search is systematically tends to be underreported because a lot of the conversion tracking, it's based on users like landing on a thank you page after having like placed an order online or filling out some kind of contact us form. And so in the mobile world, the call to action is often just making a phone call. So something like 50% of mobile ads result in a phone call. So all this traditional kind of pixel-based conversion tracking, it doesn't even work. And so that doesn't mean that there's no value. It could possibly be that we're not measuring it properly. And so one of the three pillars of this enhanced campaigns from AdWords is adding this new reporting capabilities. So for example, there's this new call conversion type. And that conversion is based on the duration of a call, like a meaningful conversation. It could be like 2 or 3 or 4 minutes. The duration you can specify, whatever you think is meaningful, and then you can specify that minimum duration of a call for which you consider to be a conversion. So they're trying to figure out how to better quantify and measure the ROI of mobile search. AdWords is also rolling out various different types of conversion types here. They're listed out here, such as digital downloads. So that's like if you're selling apps or books or content, you can track like the sale of mobile purchases. They've got this thing called offer codes, like offer extension ads, and so that's where you can search on something on your mobile device and get a coupon, and then maybe you walk into a store the next day. Then the advertiser can then connect the action of you in the offline world, having walked into a store with a specific coupon. They can now tie that back to your AdWords campaign. I think that's really, really powerful. And they're also rolling out some new cross-device kind of tracking that's coming soon, where you start a purchase on either the desktop and then move to mobile and then finish it on a tablet or something like that. So there's a lot of exciting stuff happening here. Regarding the new phone call conversion type, I think this is great. It's going to give advertisers better insight into the true value of mobile. It's going to definitely result in better ROI from mobile search. And one of my business partner here, Ralph Foles at WordStream, he says to me, you can't optimize what you can't measure. So like that's why this is so important. It's like driving with the headlights off, he would tell me. So this is this is pretty critical, having the ability to measure this stuff. You know, previously Google had some rudimentary call reporting features and functions, but nobody used it because it was kind of ridiculous. It was they charged $1 for every time someone called you. So if that's pretty expensive in terms of like call tracking. And so going forward, they've gotten rid of that kind of bizarre disincentive, and now it's free to use this you know, mobile kind of call tracking. And so I think that's because they would like all advertisers to take advantage of advanced call metrics to try to understand and quantify the ROI of mobile search. Any thoughts there?
Yeah,
Bryan?
well, okay, absolutely. Two very broad comments. Number one, Claude Hopkins, who wrote Scientific Advertising nearly 100 years ago, would be just dancing about in his grave if he knew that people were measuring this stuff this carefully. I totally agree with you. What you cannot track, you cannot measure, and so on. And anytime I teach people anything about conversion tracking, how to set it up, how to measure it, the importance of it, yada, yada, the single biggest, most frequent question I get asked is, what if people are calling in by phone? And I am excited and encouraged to see that Google is making big steps forward in tracking that much better, making it easier to track and so on, because it always in the past had resulted in very complex conversations, you know, with our coachees as to how they're actually supposed to set this up and make it work. And I'm excited to see this whole system improve.
Awesome. So let's just wrap up sort of the key changes of enhanced campaigns, and then we'll jump into the case studies. So the four key changes here are, one, that enhanced campaigns will now run a single campaign across different devices, you know, with optimizations for mobile and elements of user context, such as location and time of day. Mobile ads require special bids, extensions, ad text, headlines, and this can all be managed from within the same campaign as your desktop ads. Number two, bids can now be set so bids are set at the keyword level, but mobile bid adjustment applies uniformly to all the keywords across the entire campaign, meaning it's no longer possible to designate specific keyword level bids for mobile searches within a campaign. So that's one of a couple of things that people are complaining about. Number three, tablets and laptop devices, you know, because there's some Google research that thinks that they're converging, like they're saying they're pointing to like the Google, the Microsoft Surface things, that's kind of both a laptop and a notebook. So they're saying that those two types of devices are kind of converging, and so they're also saying that the behavior is similar in terms of the types of searches that are run, and so they're consolidating laptops and tablets as being kind of the same. And so previously there was an ability to kind of bid separately based on tablet versus desktop, but this is going away, and now they're being merged into the same bucket. And number four, historically, Google, when you had a campaign that targeted desktop and mobile in the same campaign, even though you had a single bid for that campaign, Google used to do a little bit of bid manipulation to try to figure out a mobile bid for you on your behalf. So that's going away. It's now completely the advertiser's responsibility to specify that mobile bid adjustment factor that we talked about. And so these are the four key changes. Any thoughts or anything to add, Bryan?
Nothing to add on this. Very good summary.
Awesome. So let's dive into the use cases now and the case studies, because this can provide some guidance on how you should be thinking about enabling enhanced campaigns for your business. And so having gone through the features and functions, let's make it real here. So the other day I was talking to a an advertiser. He is a huge seller of car parts in the United States. And so in this example, the way they sell, they have an online presence, so they have like an online store. And they also have kind of a national call center where like auto body shops and people can call and place orders on the phone. And so when I was speaking to the owner of this business a couple of weeks ago, we looked at kind of the typical ad performance on a typical day. And so there's a lot of data in here, but I'll just summarize it for you. At first glance, we looked at the mobile's cost per action, and it was about $2.79. And then we compared that to the desktop cost per action, which was roughly $1.95. So at first glance, we thought, the mobile CPAs seem to be a little bit more expensive, maybe 30 or so % higher than desktop. Maybe that's why 50% of you value the desktop traffic more, because it seems to convert better. And then we looked at the number of conversions for this advertiser. How many are coming from mobile versus desktop versus tablet? Well, 17% on a typical day, 17% of the conversions came from mobile, whereas 75% of the desktop of the conversions came from desktop, and around 7% came from tablet. So, if you were to just look at this picture, you might conclude, gee, why don't we just turn off mobile, because it doesn't seem to be converting, at as good a kind of a price, and also it seems to be a very small, 17% of the overall conversion, so it doesn't even seem like a real area where we should focus on. But in speaking with this advertiser and this founder, business owner, he was kind of thinking that, when you get people on the phone, the order values are a bit larger, and they're more immediate, and like the time between people placing the call and placing the order is faster than when people just fill out a contact us form and then they call them back, and like the average sales cycle was longer. And so and he wasn't able to measure the ROI of these calls, because this was all legacy kind of stuff before enhanced campaigns. And so he saw the picture, and he thought maybe there's another side of this picture that might be missing, and he wanted to work with us to try to figure out the complete picture. And so, just to give you some background information here, Google and Nielsen, they're like a ratings agency. They produced some research, and this is what led that founder, that business owner, to believe that there could be more going on than what was being revealed in the Google stats. 55% of conversions, like such as a store visit or a phone call, like placing an order on the phone call, happen within an hour of doing the search. So that's what he was talking about. The intent is stronger on mobile search, and there's some other stats here. I won't go through all of them, but you can look them up on our website afterwards. Basically, we thought that there was some opportunity here, and so we came up with a strategy, and here's what it looked like. So we wanted to tackle the mobile strategy for this advertiser. And so one thing we did is we did some analysis on the account, and surprise, surprise, we noticed that the performance seems to do better during the business hours, because like his customers are all like mechanics and shop owners, body shop owners, so tends to do better during business hours than evenings. So using enhanced campaigns, you set the time-based bid adjustment factors to bid up slightly during the business hours, and slightly less when the call center is closed, and on Sundays. So that's one way that we kind of are adapting our strategy to the user context. The second thing we did was we kind of looked at where are the purchases coming from. And we saw that there were, they sell nationally, but there are 10 key metro areas there where they do the most business. They do like half of the business here. And so what we decided to do was to split up the campaigns. We'll still bid across the United States, but for the key metro areas where we drive the most business, we're going to bid up the mobile bid adjustment factors by location by 20, 30, 40% in those areas that are most strategically important to this business owner. Next, we looked at kind of some of the device targeting options and optimizations that we could take advantage of from mobile campaign enhanced campaigns. And so we noticed that that we weren't even measuring calls, and so we set up call tracking so that we counted kind of like longer conversations, substantial conversations over 3 minutes. We called those conversions to try to, because that was about how much time it took to look up different parts. So we started counting that. And then on the ad creative, we wanted to make it so that if that mechanic or dealer was doing a search on their phone, which happens roughly about a quarter of their traffic is from mobile, we wanted to prominently display a click-to-call ad for the business so that they could call the call center, but only if the business was open. So we used the call extension, but set it to only run during the business hours. So meaning when the business was closed, we then took away the call extension and routed it straight to the Contact Us page. And by doing that, you don't have this frustrating experience of calling a call center that's closed. And so, as you can see here, like we did all this within a single campaign. So this is pretty sophisticated mobile ad strategy that previously might have taken 10, 15 different campaigns and a PhD in rocket science to figure out. We brainstormed the strategy and talk about, like, tell me about your business. Like, how do people find your business? How do they order things? And what are the different user contexts, time, location, and devices that people find your business from? And we then reflected that into our strategy. And so by doing this, I think what we ended up finding was that it was the opposite of what the initial findings were. That it was not like we were chronic. Like, let me just go back here. It was we were undercounting the conversions by half, and we were overestimating the CPA for mobile because there were so many conversions that we weren't counting. And so I just want to hopefully this use case kind of starts getting the mind thinking about all the different ways you could be leveraging mobile for your customers, like if you're an agency, or your own business if you're an advertiser. I just wanted to stop there. Brian, any thoughts on my case study?
That is a really, really excellent case study, Larry, and it illustrates something, kind of a concept I became familiar with years and years ago with the help of my friend David Rothwell, who's in the UK, who back at that time, he had the brilliant idea of going through keywords that did not show clear conversions on Google and just deleting them. And it ended up being a terrible mistake for his client to do that, because all of his conversions went away, and he discovered that there were all these keywords that he was bidding on, and people were seeing his ads and clicking on the ads and then coming back later and searching on a different keyword and going ahead and buying. And they would not have gone ahead and made that second click and purchase if they hadn't seen the ad in the first place after bidding on a different keyword entirely. So Google came up with something called search funnels that now allowed you to connect the dots. I guess the big, what you've done here is you've taken well, okay, there's information about how people are behaving that we're probably not measuring yet. Either A, because we don't have the technology, or B, because we do have the technology, we just haven't thought to actually measure it. And what you've done here in this case study is you've actually measured it, or you've found ways to get around things that you can't measure and get to stuff you can measure, and then take really intelligent action based on that. So I think it's a fantastic case study, and just illustrates there's so many types of actions that our customers are taking that we haven't actually observed yet or learned how to measure. But as we grow, more features become available, we'll be able to. So very good.
Awesome. So there was a restaurant example, but I'm going to just skip it because we're running a little late. But basically, summary. Look, I'm really excited about this. I think that the old way of like every time you wanted to kind of target a different thing, of splitting the campaigns, I thought that duplication of campaigns and triplication and quadruplication of campaign management, I thought that was very painful and causing resources to be kind of pumped into time-consuming repetitive tasks. And kind of my take on this has to do with new enhanced campaigns lets me reach my customers kind of and focus less on kind of the mechanics of setting up different campaigns and stuff, and instead just lets me think more strategically about like the types of modalities that people are, like the different types of user contexts people are in, either like at home or on the go or whatever. Like how do they find my business and how do I want to message to them? And it makes it much easier. Now, here's just an example. Like say you were bidding on 50 different locations with different bids in every geography, and then you want to have like one ad for when the store's open, one for when it's closed, and one for when it's on desktop versus one for on mobile. And it kind of quickly gets out of hand. It's like 200 campaigns for just like one campaign, and so that's why I'm pretty excited about this. And also, I think it's a great foundation for like future innovation for AdWords. Now, community reaction to the whole enhanced campaign stuff, if you follow social media at all, it hasn't been as bullish as I am on enhanced campaigns, and I think a lot of them are focusing, like legitimately so, because there are, as we said so earlier, there's certain features like keyword level bidding on mobile keywords and tablet targeting that's going away. So it's been mixed, but I prefer to be a little bit more positive, glass half full, kind of positive attitude. I'm trying to focus on kind of what are the new things that are capable of doing that were very difficult to do before. And so also Google, because this is all new, if you want to send feedback to Google on stuff that you like or don't like, they set up a feedback address. It's google.whatever. All right, so summary, enhanced campaigns are centered around 3 key areas of improvement. It's around the smarter ads for targeting the different user contexts that we talked about. It's around the reporting capabilities to measure the different types of actions that are taken in the mobile world. And it's about kind of bid management tools designed to target different types of user contexts. Essentially, yeah, and I think that's pretty interesting. I wanted to say a little bit about WordStream. WordStream is a provider of PPC management software. We have this thing called the 20-minute PPC work week, and basically what it is, it's kind of like this robot PPC expert that analyzes your PPC account, does 1,000 hours of analysis of your account, and kind of bubbles up 10 things to do every week. And so if you just follow these 10 recommendations, every week, it'll help you be successful in paid search. And so that's kind of our software offering, PPC Advisor. We also have a free tool on our website. It's called, you can actually get it from Perry's website or WordStream's website because we're partners on this. It's called the AdWords Performance Grader, and it's a one-of-a-kind kind of report card for your AdWords account. You want to know how you're doing in AdWords, just grade your account, and we'll give you a score, kind of like a credit report, and show you exactly where you're doing great and where you're kind of not so great, where you should be focusing on. And I think that's a very valuable free resource for you. And then I think we have a special offer. Chris Mikhail, do you want to open up our final poll for today? And so the poll offer here is, are you interested in a live demo to see how WordStream's PPC Advisor can help optimize your paid search campaigns? And the people who will be doing this are all AdWords certified people, and they're just AdWords certified, and they'll help you find out areas of opportunity. Whenever I always love audits, because I'll always pick up a few gems, a few nuggets of wisdom that I might have overlooked because I look at this stuff so closely. Sometimes you miss stuff that's right in front of you, and you know, invariably it always results in efficiencies or you know, new perspective and valuable. So I think it's a very valuable offer if you'll take us up on this offer. And so while the people are answering that, let's just go to questions. I know we're a little bit over time. I apologize.
Thanks, Larry, and thanks, Brian. And thank you, everyone, for participating and sending your questions. And we're getting a lot of great questions. If we don't get to all of the questions today, Larry usually does a follow-up blog post, and we'll try to answer as many of those as possible in that blog post. So the first question we have here is, you said that there's an automatic upgrade to enhanced campaigns in June. Are there risks associated with letting my account auto-upgrade? And is there anyone who can help me manage the upgrade process or give advice?
Of course. So I would definitely recommend not doing the auto upgrade. Like the auto upgrade is a very automated and not necessarily the smartest thing for you to do. It just runs a couple of rules and converts your campaigns. But you know your business better than AdWords does, and you know the campaign structure of your AdWords account better than AdWords. So yes, you absolutely have to be thinking about doing the upgrade before kind of mid-year. You know, I would want you to do it, and if you talk to our reps, take us up on this poll offer that's on your screen. We could definitely walk you through kind of some of the considerations that you should be thinking about, much like the kind of case study that we just talked about. Brian, does Perry offer any services around kind of consultation around this kind of thing?
Not currently, and I like the offer that you've given there, and I think you answered it well.
All right, next question.
Okay, the next question. Yep, next question we have here is, I've had a very successful mobile-only campaign, and I'm concerned that I'm going to lose many clicks to calls. What's the best way to keep mobile searches / clicks working well after I have to switch to enhanced campaigns only?
Right. So the problem here is that, and this is something that people are pretty upset about. The challenge for this particular advertiser is that he will no longer to only be able to target mobile. He has to target desktop and mobile, which is ironic because, like, you know, 10 to 1, people were saying that that the desktop clicks were worth more than the mobile clicks. I actually think it's the opposite. I'm in the minority here, but this particular advertiser is only bidding on mobile, probably because he sees that there's a lot of value here. And so going forward in enhanced campaigns, you'll have to create this enhanced campaign thing, and you'll be bidding on both desktop keywords and mobile keywords, but you can't get rid of the desktop. So the strategy here is to bid down your desktop keywords if that's not the traffic that you're interested in. So instead of bidding $1 on your keywords, bid maybe a third of that, so like 33 cents. Like, this is just a dumb example. But then set your mobile bid adjustment factor to plus 300%. So what will happen is that your mobile traffic will be, you'll get like your bids will be more aggressive, much more aggressive on mobile, and your bids, so you'll get a bigger impression share, whereas your desktop bids will be lower, and so maybe it won't be even that competitive, and so maybe it won't even show up for the ad auction on desktop. So that's kind of a strategy that people are employing. Great question.
Okay, the next question. Actually, I'm getting a lot of questions about how people are really overwhelmed by all the new AdWords features that are coming out. Is there a feature or two, Larry or Brian, that you would suggest someone should start with if they're not really PPC experts?
Well, I can definitely sympathize with the asker. I mean, it seems like it's like a full-time job to keep up with all these features and functions. I don't know, favorite feature? For me, it's the call extension. Like, if I could just pick one, it's just having a call extension for mobile is just is pretty critical.
I'm gonna go with Larry on that one.
Okay, sounds good. The next question here is, I'd like to try mobile ads, but I'm using automated bidding. Is there a risk my mobile spend will be really high? How would you suggest getting started with mobile from a spend perspective?
So, so there's two questions here. One is like he's using some automated bidding. So you have to figure out what automated bidding software you're using. Like like you have to find out, ask them if that software supports the bidding supports enhanced campaign bidding, because as you saw, the bidding is like pretty different now. There's like these mobile bid adjustments. You can bid by location, et cetera, et cetera. You know, like I think you really need to figure out if your software will still work, if it's been updated to support enhanced campaigns before kind of, you know, converting things. There was like a second part of that question, Chris?
Yeah, how would you suggest getting started with mobile from a spend perspective?
Oh yes, so that's right. So you have to set a mobile bid adjustment factor, and that could be anywhere from -100 to +300. And what do you start it off as? Do you start it off as 100% or no change, -50%? That's a great question. So a couple of tips here of what I've been doing. So first of all, Google will give you an option, give you a recommended number. I've been seeing that number is typically like -20%, it's a little bit lower because historically mobile clicks have been slightly cheaper than desktop clicks, and so that's why there's less competition. So the default suggestion tends to be a bit less. But if you wanted to think about it yourself, the way I would look at it is think about it strategically. Think about my use case, like my little case study there, where the business owner was thinking, even though these cost per clicks seem a certain way, is it possible that there's some leakage? Is it possible, could these mobile clicks actually be worth more or less? And just make a kind of an educated guess in terms of where you want to set that at, depending on the type of business. Now, if you are selling something that's very obviously not a great candidate for mobile, or something that's obviously not a great candidate for desktop, then it's pretty obvious. But a little bit of it has to do with just thinking strategically about kind of how people find your business, and then trying to assign a numerical value to those mobile clicks. And you're going to have to do some customer research. You're going to have to do a little bit of digging in AdWords, etc. It's a process.
Okay, I think we have time for one last question, and again, we'll try to follow up with as many of these questions as possible on our blog post in the upcoming weeks. But the question that we have here is, how will quality scores be handled in regards to mobile and in regards to app or digital downloads?
How will quality? There's a kind of a combined quality score that they're going to be showing you. Like in the interface, you'll see one quality score for all your keywords, for each keyword. But behind the scenes, there'll be like different quality scores, like a quality score for mobile, a quality score for desktop, that'll be applied on your behalf. But you'll only be able to see kind of the rolled up value of quality score. So it's a great question. That's pretty technical. So it looks like roughly half of people are taking us up on the offer. I just wanted to really encourage you guys to get a second opinion on your account and try to figure out what kind of opportunities there are. And I'll be even doing like one or two of these. So just click the yes button, and maybe you'll get some free valuable consulting time here. And any other should we go to the last slide there? Bryan?
No more comments from me other than your summary was more than terrific. I appreciated the answers to your questions as well. And I did especially appreciate your willingness at the very end to share the reasons why a lot of folks aren't overly excited about this. I will say that in the circles I run in, most of my friends that I hear commenting about enhanced campaigns are people that are running agencies. And so a lot of the things that enhanced campaigns are doing now, they were actually doing with a lot of staff and a lot of tools that they had in-house. And so that's why they may be, they're in a lot of cases less than enthusiastic about making a lot of this automated now. But I think those folks don't really represent most John Q. AdWords advertisers. And so I think, most people who are managing their own accounts and don't have, 40 hours a week to devote just to AdWords will find a lot of the features that you described really, really helpful and really good time saving. Really good for time saving. So.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. That wraps up our webinar today. Don't forget to grade your AdWords account on Perry's website or my website, WordStream.com or PerryMarshall.com, and you can sign up for a free trial of WordStream at WordStream.com and connect with me on Twitter or email us any questions. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Brian. Thanks, Chris.
All right.
That ends our presentation.
Thank you, Larry. Thank you, Chris. Bye now.